So if you just happen to stumble across this video, your video business is about to change. So in this one, I'm going to be talking about how you can make your first $1,000 with your video business. So I'm talking to people who have, video skills, but they don't have any clients. And I'm also talking to people who are already doing, 5, even 10K per month, right? So this is a strategy that works for, people all across the board. And I'm going to break down step by step, the process that I personally use to get clients to chase me on autopilot, right? So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So this one's going to be basically breaking down, like I said, my system to get clients. So right off the bat, this probably looks like a mess. You probably have no idea what this is. So basically, I'm just going to start top to bottom and break down the funnel that I use to get clients. So this is the exact funnel I personally use, right? I use it to get students for my coaching business, and I also use it to get clients for my video business, right? So it's a strategy that works today, and it's going to work 10 years from now, right? It's built on principles that are timeless. Okay. So starting off with traffic. So, if you're selling anything, if you're selling any sort of product or service, you're going to need traffic, right? A good example of that is basically, let's say you're a fisherman. You just caught all these fish and you need to sell them. Well, you're probably going to have a lot higher chance of selling them if you're standing in the middle of a busy town where there's just lots of traffic versus if you went out to the middle of the desert where there's no traffic, right? It's the exact same thing here. So you have to have traffic. You have to get your message in front of as many people as possible. The more people you can get in front of, the easier it is to sell your product or your service. In this case, your service, right? So you need traffic. We've already determined that. So how do you actually get traffic? Well, there's two ways I found. One of them, you're paying with money. The other one, you're paying with time. So paid ads, you're basically paying money to show your message to people. And you can also do that with time, right? So you're trading time via outreach to reach out to people and manually, provide traffic for yourself. So these are both ways that, these are both ways that work. Paid ads are just going to be, they're easier. They obviously require money, but they're a lot more automated, right? You can put a specific amount into ads and get a good return on it in general if you have a good funnel, right? And I'm breaking down the funnel right now. So in general, I'd recommend ads, but for someone who just is strapped for cash, they have no money to put into this, then you're going to have to do outreach. But obviously, outreach is not a long-term strategy. Let me say that again. Outreach is not a long-term strategy. This might get you your first, 5, 10 clients or so. After that, I'd say start, going all in on paid ads, right? It's just more scalable. There's so many reasons to use paid ads versus outreach. But for someone who just has absolutely no money, outreach is a good option to start out with. So I'll break these down for you. So as far as paid ads go, starting out, you're basically just going to run profile visit ads to get followers. And these followers are actually going to be leads, right? So basically, I'll talk about the middle of funnel in a second, but basically what these paid ads are doing is they're just getting eyeballs to your middle of funnel. In this case, that's gonna be your Instagram account. So you're showing your Instagram account to your ideal clients, right? So this could be, let's say you're targeting local businesses, you might run local ads to businesses. Let's say you're targeting e-commerce brands, well, you might run, ads worldwide to all the e-commerce brands, or maybe all the e-commerce brands in the US, right? That's a whole different topic. But basically, you're getting eyeballs, you're getting traffic to your service, right? So paid ads are great. Like I've said, you can put in $1 and ideally get out $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 in return with paid ads. So that's one way. Like I said, it's a lot more automated. It works a lot better. And if you're just trying to build systems to actually predictably scale your business, you're going to want paid ads. Okay. So paid ads are one way to do it. Then there's also outreach. All right. So outreach is, like I said, you're trading your time for money, I guess. Right. So like I said, it isn't something I'd recommend long-term because you don't want to build your whole brand on, relying on outreach, right? Even if you do, hire it out to like a virtual assistant, you're still having to manage a virtual assistant. You're still having to pay them, and it's still outreach at the end of the day. Think about the last time you bought something from cold outreach. Chances are never, right? So the reason behind that is just you haven't built up any trust with the client beforehand, so they just don't really have a reason to trust you, and it's a lot harder to sell them, right? But this system, the outreach that I'm going to be teaching is going to allow you to build somewhat of a relationship with your clients before you even get them on a sales call, which is good, right? If you can build up trust with them beforehand, it's going to be a lot easier to sell them in the future, right? So like I talked about, there's two ways of doing this: paid ads, outreach. With paid ads, you're just going to run profile visit ads, which are going to be leads, right? So the people who follow you on Instagram, these are generally going to be leads if you ran the ads right? We can talk about that in another video, right? As far as the outreach goes, basically what you're going to do is, I'm not talking about spamming, tons of people with outreach messages. What I'm basically saying is you're going to find out where your clients are hanging out, right? So let's say you're targeting local businesses. Well, let's say they already have Instagram, they already have a Facebook page. What you'd want to do is just start interacting with their content, kind of put yourself on their radar, right? And then by doing that, you're just like I said, engage with them organically, and you're just going to push them to your middle of funnel, right? So basically, you're putting yourself on the radar and trying to get them here to your middle of funnel, right? Both of these are just ways to put yourself in front of your target audience, right? So just to go back to this, paid ads, you're just paying to show it to your ideal clients. Outreach, you're using your time. And at the end of the day, your time is the most valuable resource. So as soon as possible, you want to start paying to run ads, right? It's just so much more predictable, all right? So next is your middle of funnel. So now that you've got traffic coming into your middle of funnel, what is a middle of funnel? Where are you actually sending these people to, right? So in general, you're just going to be sending them to Instagram and YouTube. So at this point, now that there's traffic coming into your middle of funnel, you need to give them a reason to buy from you. You have to build up trust so that they know, like, and trust you, right? So when I was doing outreach for like 8 months straight, I was just skipping this middle of funnel. I didn't have a middle of funnel, so I was basically reaching out to businesses, asking them to work with me, but they had absolutely no idea who I was. They didn't know, like, and trust me. So basically, with this strategy, I'm going to try to show you how to build up trust with your clients before you get them on a sales call. So that's what your middle of funnel is. So as far as like how you actually create this, like I said, it's going to be Instagram and YouTube. And the purpose of this is, like I said, to take this traffic and build up trust with them and give them a reason to buy from you. So from the middle of funnel, you'll basically send them to Instagram. That's going to be where you're just posting things like behind the scenes, finished work, entertainment, value. This isn't just posting your work, by the way, right? There's a very specific process to this, and I can break that down more in the future. But basically, your Instagram is honestly where you're trying to get them so you can start conversations in the DMs. All right. So you're pushing them to Instagram, and then from the DMs, you'll usually send them to YouTube. All right. Or they'll go straight from Instagram to YouTube. Now, YouTube is a little bit different, right? So Instagram, like we said, is really to start conversations with them, get them in your DMs so you can obviously book a call at the end of the day. That being said, the studies show that it takes around 7 hours of content for someone to be ready to buy from you, which means you have to, to build up trust with someone, to get them to buy from you, you have to put as much content out there as possible. So to get 7 hours of content in front of your ideal clients, right? All this traffic who's coming to your funnel, to build up trust with them, to be able to sell them, you need to, like I said, get at least 7 hours of content in front of them. And the best way to do that, I found, is with YouTube, right? Because the chances of them watching 7 hours of short form content on Instagram is not very likely, right? And it's honestly really hard to create 7 hours of short form content. So we're basically using Instagram to have almost like a quick overview of like who you are, right? So you can, like I said, that's where you can post some behind the scenes, some finished work, entertainment, value, stuff like that. We'll get into that in a minute, right? So Instagram is kind of just for your DMs. YouTube is to build up trust with them, to kind of build that connection so that they can get to know you, right? So in general, you're going to send traffic to your middle of funnel, and it's just going to circulate between, them watching your Instagram content and your YouTube content, right? So YouTube content, just like this, is just to build up trust with them. Instagram is kind of your place to get them into your DMs, right? As well as you can post daily stories, right? So stories are just going to build up trust with your audience. They can get to know you. So let's say all these, the businesses that you're wanting to work with, they might see your ad, they'll come into your profile, drop you a follow. with, no intention of working with you on day one. That being said, though, if they're seeing your daily stories, they're seeing, behind the scenes, they're seeing finished work. Basically, they're seeing your posts right here. And then they've also gone to your YouTube, right? And they're watching all your content. This could be behind the scenes on a shoot. So basically just show them like what it's like to be on a shoot. Maybe give them some value on how videos can actually help them with their business, right? So kind of just give them like an insight of like who you are, how videos can actually help, and just build up trust with your ideal clients. So that's kind of what YouTube is for. So with a combination of YouTube for building up trust, Instagram to show them daily stories and get them into your DMs, this is how you're going to start building up trust with your ideal clients. So this could take 30 days. This could take up to a year, 2 years. So this is definitely a long-term game. You're not just like spamming people, thousands of people, and hoping one of them buys, right? You're getting traffic, you're sending it into a middle of funnel, and you're just building up trust with them. And then over time, eventually they'll work with you down the road, right? So generally this takes some time for them to get to know you, right? And it makes sense. I mean, let's say Steve Jobs walked up to you, you had no idea who Steve Jobs was, you had no idea about, what an iPhone was, right? If he just walked up to you and tried to sell you this thing called an iPhone, and you had no idea who he was or what the product was, you probably wouldn't even buy it, right? So it's the fact that Steve Jobs has built up this brand that people know, like, and trust. That's what makes it so easy to sell. So it's the exact same here with your middle of funnel. You have to take this traffic and put them into a middle of funnel so that they can get to know you and so that they can trust you, right? That's really, it's so important for a sale, and that's what a lot of people are missing. They're doing one of two things. They're either relying on word of mouth, which is great because generally people trust you, but you can't put in input and get an output, which means you can't really control how much word of mouth you get. So the only other way is, what most people are doing, and that is cold outreach, right? They're just spamming people, reaching out to people who have no idea who they are. They don't have a middle of funnel, like I mentioned here. So that's kind of what I'm showing you here is how you can build up trust with people. And, I've talked a lot about this, if you just have traffic, paid ads to your middle of funnel. I've talked about that before, but there's another way to do it with outreach if you just have no money, right? But like I said, paid ads are going to be better, but if you have no money, outreach is basically just trading your time to get traffic, right? So it is definitely doable, but I'd recommend this strategy over, just complete cold outreach, right? Just, sliding into people's DMs or shooting them emails or cold calling. They don't know you and they don't trust you, which makes it a lot harder. So like I said, just to reiterate, you're getting traffic. So, a large pool of people, you're sending them into this middle of funnel to build up trust with them. All right. Now, eventually you're going to get people into your DMs, right? So at this point, they should, know, like, and trust you, right? A lot of times people go straight from Instagram to your DMs, from your DMs back to YouTube, and kind of just circulate in here for a little bit until they are ready to buy, right? So that's going to get people into your DMs, and then from the DMs, that's where you're going to start booking them as qualified calls and eventually sell them, right? So DMs to a book call to a sale, right? Now, if YouTube had like a DM feature, you honestly like wouldn't need Instagram, but basically we're combining these two so that you can DM people, book them in on a call, but also build up trust with them. So that's kind of the system. And then once you get people into your middle funnel, these followers, like I said, these are your ideal clients, right? So once you start getting your ideal clients into your middle of funnel as followers, then you can start running retargeting ads, right? Once you start building your following. So basically anyone who's already followed you, engaged with your content in the past, you can start running retargeting ads. That's basically gonna get them to buy easier, right? So you're basically following up with them via an ad, right? So it's almost like a follow-up message or a follow-up email, but it's easier to sell them with an ad versus, a follow-up email. That's just less direct almost, right? So yeah, that's kind of the system that I use. Like I said, I like paid ads because it's just, more predictable. You can build up a system a lot easier, right? You don't have to constantly be spending all day reaching out to people, right? But like I said, if you don't have any money to start out with, obviously do something, at least start, so you can start with cold outreach, right? So I did want to break down like some good examples of this. So I have no affiliation with this dude. He showed up on my Instagram profile, and I think he's doing a great job, and you can tell he's working with some big clients, right? So his name's, I think it's pronounced Jeremy, like he said here in his profile. Yep. So basically, I want to break down, he's basically doing exactly what I said. So this is his middle of funnel. He's got Instagram where he can set appointments, and he's got YouTube where he can build up trust. Okay. So basically, he needs traffic. This could be outreach, this could be paid ads. And honestly, you can honestly say there's organic, right? That's another way. Basically, you get views basically organically by posting, reels that get views. That's another way to get traffic. So I guess there's, technically three, right? So basically he's getting traffic into his middle of funnel. Now his middle of funnel is doing exactly what I said, right? He's got behind the scenes, he's got finished work, he's got entertainment and value, right? Same thing here with David, right? Same exact concept. He's got value, with these posts. He's got behind the scenes. He's talking about like how videos can actually improve a brand right there. Okay. So yeah, these guys are doing it, an absolutely great job with it. And there's a reason they're signing clients, because they're following these principles. So they're getting traffic into their middle of funnel. They're building up trust with them. And you can also see, this guy, he doesn't have like a ton of followers, but he's still landing huge projects. And the same thing here with Dave, right? He's under 2,000, but he's doing, big projects with big brands, right? And that goes to show, if you just follow these principles, he's posting behind the scenes. This is finished work. This is, talking about some of his gear. This is finished work. Like he's doing, these exact things, and there's a reason it's working. So, same thing here. He's got a link to his YouTube. So let's say you're a business, right? You drop him a follow, you click on his YouTube, you watch some of his content, you can get to know who this Jeremy guy is. Okay. So that's how he's doing it. And you can also see, going back to what I was saying about organic content, this is 60,000 views. So out of those 60,000 views, chances are you can at least sell one of them, right? Chances are one of those people is a business who's looking for videos in his area, right? And even if not, then he's still at least building up trust with his ideal clients. So he's doing a great job with that. And then this guy isn't going straight to YouTube, but he's also got a lead magnet. So let's say he gets traffic to his middle of funnel, which is Instagram. They can click on his website and put in their email address, and that's basically a lead. So he can follow up with them. He can build up trust with them over time. So yeah, like I said, these guys are doing it great. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but just wanted to break down, like, there are people who are signing high-paying clients predictably, and they have systems in place. They're not just relying on word of mouth. They're not doing dead cold outreach. They have systems in place to build up trust with their ideal clients. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. If you have any questions on like how to go about doing this, feel free to reach out via Instagram. But yeah, hopefully this made sense. Just to reiterate, you got traffic, you're sending them, this could be outreach, paid ads, you're sending them to your middle of funnel, right? From the middle of funnel, your goal is just to build up trust with them, right? And I have noticed a huge difference between when I was skipping this middle of funnel, because I did completely, cold outreach for a little bit. When I was skipping this part right here, I was just doing cold outreach to a booked call, right? And I was skipping this middle of funnel. And when I did that, the people I'd get on a booked call, they had no idea who I was. So it made selling them so much harder, right? There's like this tension that you can feel on the call where they're like, it feels like you're wasting their time. They don't know who you are. They're like, honestly, just trying to get out of the call. Now, when you add in this middle of funnel, they've already built up this connection with you. So by the time you get them on a call, they feel like they know you and they're ready to buy, because they already know like what you're offering, how you can help them. That's all stuff you can convince them of in your middle of funnel with YouTube and Instagram content. So just wanted to like reiterate, like, it's a lot easier to even sell people because they're coming to you. You're not like kind of reaching out to them, right? And when I say outreach, this isn't, like I said, spamming them, spamming their inbox. You're literally just engaging with their content, putting yourself in front of them, and then eventually they'll just check out your Instagram or check out your YouTube and ideally drop you a follow. Like I said, it takes more time, but it's a much more long-term strategy. And this is something that you can, scale. So if you're a complete beginner, you basically, you do outreach to a middle funnel, to DMs, to a book call, right? If you're already doing 5, 10K per month, you're going to have capital to invest into ads, which means you're basically just throwing fuel on the fire, right? Paid ads are just going to get you more leads, which allow you to send more people to your middle funnel, which means you book more calls, which means you make more sales. So, you could be dropping 10K per month just on paid ads, and you make a huge return on that because all of these booked calls that you'd be making. But like I said, it works for someone who's already doing, over 10K per month, and it also works for someone who has no clients at all. Okay. So hopefully this kind of makes sense. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Hopefully this is helpful. I'll catch you next time. Peace.